Hello, hello. It's Dana Wilde, and welcome to the show. As you know, what are we all about here? We are all about on Train Your Brain, building your business, building your following quickly and easily, doing the things you love, getting paid for being happy, right? Feeling good and realizing like it's from that feel good place that you build your following, your business, you make your money, all of that good stuff. And so today I want to talk about why I happen to know for sure, and it's not like I'm psychic or anything, but I know for sure you're going to be successful. And because I think, frankly, sometimes we need a reminder. You know, we get out there and we're plugging away and it's like, I'm doing all this stuff that people tell me to do and it doesn't seem like any of it's working. And is this thing on? And it feels sometimes like you can be trudging and have those moments of self-doubt, right? We all have those moments of self-doubt. And so I am here to help you clear it up because there's actually 3 reasons that I can give you as supporting evidence for why, for sure, you're going to make it and you're going to be successful. Number 1 reason, desire. You have desire. And when you're an entrepreneur, when you've already gone to the trouble of starting your own business, sometimes it can be really easy to poo-poo that or discount that or say that that's not a big deal. But let me tell you something, compared to most of the population, you're a dreamer. You dream big. You think big. You want more. You don't want the status quo. You're not out there wanting to work for somebody else or settle or live a life that's ordinary. You want to live a life that's extraordinary, or you wouldn't be doing this. You wouldn't have started your own business in the first place. So before you poo-poo it, hear me out. Desire is massive. It's important. It's a very important factor in this whole process. So the number 1 proof I have, the evidence, if I may so say so, Your Honor, is that you're here, right? You have desire to do this. You have the will and the feelings of excitement flowing through you. You had the idea. You have the want, if you will, flowing through you. And that is in itself enough to get you there. It really is. If you get that desire juiced up and flowing, it's enough to give you momentum and keep you going. But lest we rest there, let me tell you the number 2 reason why you will be successful. The number 2 reason is that you are learning. You're a continual learner. How do I know that? Because you're listening to this show. You wouldn't be listening to this show if you didn't have a desire to learn. You didn't have a desire to get out there and figure this out, poke around. And frankly, I tend to attract lifelong learners, and I would love to hear your opinion. Like, if you think you're a lifelong learner, I will venture to bet 90% of the people, 99% probably, hearing my voice right now, consider themselves lifelong learners. You like to figure stuff out. You're curious. You like to study topics of interest. In fact, chances are you probably have more topics of interest that you want to study than you actually have time to study them. That is a learner, and a learner figures stuff out. Eventually, over time, learners figure things out. You cannot sit down with, let's say you're watching gardening videos. Let's say you have, no desire to garden even, but all you're doing is you've decided you're going to study gardening videos. How long do you think you can watch gardening videos? How many days in a row can you study about gardening videos without actually implementing some of the stuff you're learning? Well, I'll tell you, not very long, because what happens is the more you're learning about it, the more you're studying about it, the more ideas you're getting. Thought precedes action. The more you think about things, and I'm actually moving right into number 3 now, the more you think about things, the more you start to move toward doing them. So sometimes I think people get down on themselves and they say like, well, I'm studying and I'm studying and I'm studying, but I'm not doing anything. And first of all, I know how that feels. And I know sometimes it can feel like things aren't moving fast enough. But I want to say that the problem isn't that you're implementing. The problem is that you're beating yourself up about not implementing. So stop that. Don't do that anymore. Right? Instead, start to relish in the learning of it. Start to really, is it relish or revel? I think it's revel. Start to revel in the learning of it. Like start to really be like, okay, I love this facet. I love studying this. I love following my joy. I love taking the thread and unraveling the next new thing that I'm going to learn. It's so fun to study about this. It's so fun to learn. It's so nice to know that thought precedes action, because guess what? Number 3 is that thought does precede action. If you keep thinking about things and you keep studying about them, you'll start to take the right baby steps forward to do it. And every little baby step counts. You will get there for sure. You will for sure figure it out. You know, I had somebody, I hope this analogy carries, but I'm going to try it anyway. I had somebody I was talking to, and they were a smoker. They wanted to quit smoking, and they said, you know, Dana, what can I do? You know, how can I quit smoking? I'm really nervous about it. I've got self-doubt. I don't know if it's going to work. This, you know, on and on with it. And so I said to them, I said, well, do you see yourself being, and this was a female, said, do you see yourself being a 90-year-old woman and continuing to smoke? Now, of course, this doesn't work for everybody because some of you do see yourself at 90 smoking, right? So what are you going to do? But in this case, for her, she was like, well, no. I mean, I know eventually I'll stop smoking. And I'm like, well, if you know it's going to happen eventually, then why stress about it? Don't think about it. Just trust that you know you're going to figure it out. You know you're going to find your method for quitting, and don't give it a second thought. Don't think about it. And it's a bit like that with building a business. You know, because we want it to happen faster, because we're taking little actions and we wonder, like, are these little actions adding up? We start to think like, oh, I wonder if this thing is working. But here's the thing. Do you really think that you can take these little actions year after year after year and decade after decade after decade, do this learning, do this studying, and not have it add up? Do you think it's really possible to stay focused on this between now until you're 90 years old and not figure it out? Of course you're going to figure it out. It's not like you're going to wait until 90. Like people say like, oh, I don't have a client, or I'm not going to get my first client, or am I going to give it my first client? And I'm like, do you really think that you're never going to get a client between now and age 90? Well, of course you are. Of course you are. So you can just stop stressing about that now. You can just trust that it's working, it's on its way, it's unfolding in perfect timing, it's building just like it is, it's all happening exactly as it should be. Every year you're getting better, every year you're getting smarter, every year you're practicing and doing more and more. It's all a discovery process. And I've got some really good news for you that I'm going to tell you after the break about why, for sure, that this is unfolding perfectly for you. You're going to see it and you're going to like it. I promise. So sit tight. I'm going to take a quick break because for those of you that don't know, we are live on Facebook. That's our studio audience. We're here for sure every Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time, but often I'm here other times during the week too, just kind of spontaneously. And so if you want, go ahead and go to danawilde.com/update, danawilde.com/update. And you can get on our list and find out, get those little Dana bot notifications, find out when we're live. When I come back, we're going to continue to talk about why, for sure, you are guaranteed to be successful. I'll be right back. Hello, welcome back. Dana Wilde here. And for those of you who don't know, we have got a very cool, awesome new thing coming out related to training your brain, influence, building your business quickly. I can't tell you anymore. You know, people think sometimes that I'm not a very good secret keeper, and I'm not when it comes to my own secrets. I'm good with other people's secrets, so you can tell me anything. It's like a steel trap. But for myself, I have a hard time keeping stuff under wraps. So head over to danaclass.com, and what you'll see is that there's a page where you can kind of be the first to know every time I want to spill my gut, especially this time, because I got something really neat and cool coming out, and maybe even by the time you head over there, it'll be up and ready to go. So I hope you can join me. So what we've been talking about here is self-doubt and like the idea of, will I for sure make it? Or how will I know that I for sure will make it? And so what I'm here to tell you is that hopefully by now I've made my case, and I keep talking like lawyers speak, right? Like I've made my case that you're going to make it. It's nearly impossible, if not impossible, to continue to stay focused on something, to continue to learn about things, to continue to have desire about things, to continue to take those baby steps of action without having it build up and without going on to success. So it's all but guaranteed that it's going to happen for you. And so what I wanted to end with, and the tip I wanted to give you that I think might be useful for you, is part of the reason why I'm talking in kind of lawyer speak. I was thinking the other day that, how logical people can deal with brain training stuff, because sometimes I think, so much of building a business or being an entrepreneur, you kind of almost have to take a leap of faith. And so I thought, is that really true? Like, do you have to be like totally trusting in the unknown, or do you have to be like totally willing to take a leap of faith? And I thought to myself, I'm not so sure that that's 100% true. Like I was thinking about the personality types that might be the captains of the debate team in high school or college, right? Like the type who are really good at building a case either for or against something, because if you've ever done debate, which I haven't, but I get the concept, you have to, whether even you believe in something or whether you don't, you have to make a case for it. You have to be able to debate something just by the sheer finding the facts and research and logic. And so what I'd like to suggest is that sometimes we get really good at making a case for the reasons why we won't make it. We get really good at making a list of all the things that are against us, or all the reasons why we won't do it. And so what I'd like to suggest is, what if you turn that around? What if you started today making a list in the back of your mind, making a list, you can do it physically on a piece of paper, but have access to it where you can think of it consistently, that list of why you will make it. Why will you be successful? What are all the things going for you? What are all the things that are working on your behalf, right? Think about just the fact that you're a brain trainer. You get this. You keep showing up here. You understand, like, oh my gosh, I can think in my own head. It's possible for me to change my thoughts. It's possible for me to think of a new thought, to focus on a thought that feels good. I love that I get this, that I understand this. I love that I have those dreams. What's more reasons why you're going to make it? I have evidence that I've learned things in the past. I have evidence that I've been successful at things in the past. I have evidence that I have desire for this. I have evidence that I'm learning this, that I'm trying to do it. There's so many reasons working on your behalf why you will be successful. And so focus on those. Focus on all the reasons how you're placing brick by brick by brick by brick and building up. And I'll tell you why. Because what might surprise you, I said before the break that everything is happening in perfect timing. And what might surprise you is maybe this is unfolding exactly as it's supposed to. I used to think back in the day when I was first starting my business, like, man, if I could just get on Oprah, this would be so big if I could get on Oprah. Or, man, if I would just, get on this show or do this or do that. Well, I started to really quickly realize that, you know what? If that had happened back in the day, we first of all wouldn't have had the infrastructure to even benefit from the flood of leads that would come from that. Second of all, my message wasn't 100% solid then. I didn't even really know what I was talking about most of the time. Maybe I still don't, right? But I feel like I'm further down the road than I was back in the day when I first started this. And so I'm starting to realize more and more every year that exactly where I am is perfect. It's exactly where I need to be. and I'm figuring it out, and I'm getting stronger, and I'm building my message, and I'm understanding my mission, and I'm dialing it in, and I'm locking it down more and more and more every year. Things are unfolding perfectly, exactly as they should. And sometimes you don't even know why, but they really are. I'll tell you another story that you might appreciate. I had a friend who I was, conversing with for quite a bit over the years as time would go. We met at a conference where everybody was writing their books. And this was before I had written the Train Your Brain book. And she was writing her book along. We would talk because we were both writing our books. And it was taking her forever, like literally years, year after year after year. And I mean, I was done and had launched and had, gone to #1 in all my categories and all this, and the next year. And she was really like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Well, long about year 3 of her not finishing her book, what she realized is that she actually had a completely different mission than what she was focusing on in her book. And it didn't take a lot of tweaks, but it took some tweaks to her book and to her message to make that happen. And she had this huge sigh of relief, like, I am so glad that I took my time and it unfolded exactly like it unfolded, because now I know, like, this is what I want to be known for. Of course, then instantly she got the book published and out and went to #1 and got clients and all that stuff from it, because she was on point. She was on message. She was on purpose. And she didn't get impatient. She didn't try to rush the process and say, like, what's wrong with me? Why is it taking so long? And, I'm such a failure and all this. You can just let go of all of that, because now, hopefully by the end of this show, that success is guaranteed for you. It's guaranteed. For sure, you're going to make it. For sure. And so now all you have to do is sit back and enjoy the process. Enjoy the unfolding. Let it happen. Let it come to you in exactly the perfect timing that it's coming. And watch all of those different little signs and signposts and joy posts and things, the path that lights up that makes you happy, and keep following it. And let your brain surprise and delight you as you start to figure out your way down the path and how this is supposed to unfold. Because let's face it, you and I are going to be together down the road when we're both 90, and we're going to be looking back at this, and we're going to be laughing and having a good time about how it all unfolded exactly as it was supposed to. And we'll see you next time on The Mind Aware. Bye, everybody. Mwah. See you soon.